Hi everyone, it's Chrissie and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So yes, today we're building in Forgotten Hollow, and I haven't built in Forgotten Hollow since, honestly, I think last Halloween, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering correctly, or maybe the Halloween of 2019 or something. I don't know, but anyway, it's been a while since I've built in Forgotten Hollow, and this house is actually for my save file. It's for my Rebuild Forgotten Hollow project, and this is where the Vatore siblings will actually be living. This is actually on their old lot, so the lot where their house used to be. I just bulldozed it and decided to build them a brand new house and everything like that. But yeah, so this is for my save file like I mentioned, and I did start this build I think at the end of September of last year or something, and then I built the exterior at that point, and then I went in maybe in November or something, I don't know, maybe a little bit earlier, and I did most of the interior, not most of the landscaping, but I started on the landscaping and then I just left it. For whatever reason, I honestly can't remember why I decided to just not finish it, but yeah, so that's what happened. And then the other week, I believe early March, yeah, maybe early March, maybe late February or something, I found this build again, and I found the time to actually just go in and finish the bloody thing, because it's mostly done. It was sitting in my builds folder, mostly done, and I don't know why I never finished it. It was just the weirdest thing. But yeah, so I decided to go back in and just finish up the exterior landscaping and then just furnishing the patios, and that was all that I had left to do. So yeah, it was really weird. But you will also notice that once we get to the landscaping right at the end of the video, once we get to the landscaping and start working on that, you will notice that my reshade changes a little bit. It doesn't change too much. The shadows and stuff just change up a little bit. But that's because that's the portion that I finished in March. Not even 3 weeks ago. Not even that long ago. But that's the part that I finished in this month. And I actually started using a new... Not really a new preset, because I'm still using the preset, what was I trying to say? I was trying to say reshade and preset at the same time, and I don't know what that sounded like. But I'm still using the preset by Nixel. I believe I'm using her... Honestly, I can't remember the name of it right now off the top of my head. It's linked in the description if you're ever curious about that. But I'm still using Nixel's preset, but I messed around with the MXAO or something like that settings. Basically the shadows, it's kind of like the shadow settings. And I messed around with that to give it a lot more lot darker shadows and stuff like that. And I'm obsessed with how that looks, especially in Forgotten Hollow. It looks perfect in Forgotten Hollow, and you will notice at the end in the screenshots and in the few little video clip tour bits that I do at the end of these builds, that you will also see the preset in that with the new shadows and stuff, and it looks fantastic. I took the photos of the exterior and stuff at sunset in the game, and it was perfect. I'm completely obsessed with how this build turned out. Not so much the build, even though I do love the way it turned out, don't get me wrong. But the screenshots at the end are just... I don't know why I'm going on about them, but I haven't loved a build's screenshots this much in probably forever. I'm serious. I posted pictures of a few sneak peeks of the exterior and stuff, of the sunset and the landscaping and stuff. I believe over on Twitter and on Instagram as well, when I just finished the build and I kind of teased the build. And yeah, I was meaning to have this build up way earlier than it had, than it's coming out. I mean, it's coming out in, I believe by the time you're seeing this, it's the beginning of April or something. I don't know, it might be April 2nd or something like that if I have my planning correct. But I finished this build, just to give you some context. I finished the build on the 12th of March. So it's been almost 3 weeks since I finished this, and yeah, it's taken me a while to get it done, mostly because I believe I had almost 4 hours worth of footage that I had to edit down, and obviously that took a while. And then I also had to do quite a long voiceover. I didn't want the build to be like 30 plus minutes, so I had to edit out quite a lot of things. I edited out the bathrooms, obviously. I edited out the hallways, I think, and just a few random bits of me like cluttering stuff up, because you know me, I do tend to add more clutter than I probably should, because it's not useful in The Sims. They don't use it. It's just like decoration, but you know, I can't stay away from clutter. So I did cut out a few things like that, a few things of me just being indecisive and all of those random stuff that I usually cut out anyway, but I feel like I should mention it every time I do. But yeah, if you're curious about anything in the build, or if you don't, you know, see me doing something that you're curious to see, you know, in more detail about how it looks and stuff, then just stick around to the end of the video for the screenshots, because I do take screenshots of literally everything in my builds. I believe I even took a screenshot of the like 3x1 tile half bathroom that I put in at the end of the hallway downstairs. So yeah, I take screenshots of everything. So if you ever miss something in a build, then chances are like 99% it will be in one of the screenshots. But yeah, so this build is on the same lot, like I said, that their old house used to be on. So it's on a 30 by 30 lot in Willow. What the hell? I just said Willow. I wanted to say Willow Creek. It's not Willow Creek. It's like the furthest thing from Willow Creek. It's in Forgotten Hollow, and yeah, like I said, on their same lot, and it's only a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom house. So there's, like I said, a half bathroom downstairs for like guests or whatever, and then they both have their own ensuites, but their bedrooms are really big, so they kind of have their own suites, like their own master suites. Both Lilith and Caleb have like their own suites. They have both their bedrooms are basically the entire top floor is kind of divided into just their bedrooms. So there's like a hallway in the middle with like the staircase and stuff and access to the front balcony. And then like the right side, if you're looking at it from the front, the right side of the like top floor is Lilith's and the left side is Caleb's. So they both have their own like bedroom area. Then they both have walk-in closets. And they also have their own like living room seating kind of area, so where I added a few skill building things, a fireplace, some couches and TVs. They both have TVs and those things in their like separate living room spaces. So they literally have like their own suites, if that makes sense. And then there's obviously downstairs, there's the formal dining room. There's kind of like a little parlor breakfast kind of thing with a like small table just for the two of them and a bar. There's obviously the kitchen that you've already seen that I don't think they would use all that often. So I tried to make it look like, you know, they still try to keep up appearances, but it's not like super clean. It's a little bit more cluttered because they don't use it all that often. And obviously, yeah, they have the like fancy, like, I don't know, like formal dining room. And then downstairs, they also have a formal living room that doesn't have a TV. So that's kind of why I wanted both of them to have their own living rooms upstairs, so that they could have TVs and stuff like that. So yeah, we'd have downstairs, we have the like formal living room with a big fireplace and some fancy couches and all of that stuff. And then walking through that, it's kind of like a big open plan. They also have a formal like library type thing with an organ and some seats and a bunch of bookcases and stuff like that. And the middle of that room is kind of empty. I thought about adding a like chess table just to fill up the space in the middle of the room. But then I thought, you know what? No, let's not do that. Let's just put a big rug down, and then maybe they could use that space to have like vampire duels. Maybe that's where they kind of spar with each other and get some practice in, stuff like that. So I think that space should be big enough for them to do that. I didn't playtest that, but I think it should be big enough. It's quite a big space. But yeah, so it's basically just a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom house. You could easily add another bedroom, another few bedrooms actually. You could turn their like living rooms into separate bedrooms, because they do have doors to access like their bedrooms, and then they have a door to access their living room, all from like the hallway. So you could easily turn that into another 2 bedrooms if you wanted to. Just remove the archways into their like walk-in closets, and you'd have a totally separate room. And then they also have their own ensuites, like I mentioned. So yeah, they have that. And then on the 3rd floor, like in the roof, you will have seen me do like the layout for that already, I think. But in the roof, with that really big window from the Realm of Magic pack, that really big round window, that room is actually kind of like the attic space, obviously. But in my head, that's, yeah, basically like the attic, but also where I have their coffins. So I didn't add like a basement to this. I figured, you know, they're not Vlad. They're kind of, I don't want to say kind of modern vampires, but also kind of not, because their house isn't modern. But yeah, their house isn't modern, but they do have their coffins. They have them in the upstairs, in the like attic space. And the only way you can access the attic is if they either fly up there as bats, or if they go up a ladder that I hid behind a bookcase door. So technically, if you're like a normal person and you come to visit their house, you shouldn't know that there's a secret way to get up to the attic where their coffins are. So yeah, that's something that I did think about. And yeah, I don't know. I know this house doesn't really fit the, I don't know, the like modern vampire idea that the Vatore siblings give me. They do give me a more like, I'm gonna sound stupid, but like Twilight vampire like feel to them. They're not like super, in my head, the way I think of them is like Vlad and his family. If you've ever seen Twilight, you will know what I'm talking about. But Vlad and his family kind of remind me of the Volturi from Twilight. And then Caleb and Lilith kind of remind me of the Cullens. So the vampires that still interact with humans and that don't mind having like human friends and stuff like that, whereas Vlad is very much the opposite and very much more of a like traditional, old school, like stereotypical vampire, if that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, I know they're like the Vatore siblings, their house doesn't look like the Cullens' house at all, but that's just because I wanted all of the houses and the lots in Forgotten Hollow. I almost said Willow Creek again. But yeah, I wanted all of the houses in Forgotten Hollow to have a very similar look to them. I wanted them all to look like these really old, Victorian, almost kind of haunted houses. That's just the look that I want for this neighborhood, so that's the look that I stuck with. So yeah, they're more modern vampires, but also they do live in a house that looks like it could possibly be haunted. So that's totally fine. I don't mind that. I kind of like that idea of, you know, them living in this house, even though they're like not really stuck in this era, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I did give them some more skills and everything like that for my save, and I did give them makeovers as well. I think I also posted pictures of their makeovers on Twitter. But yeah, I did give them makeovers. I gave them some more skills. I gave them some not new traits, because I didn't change any of their like pre-existing traits. But I did give them some extra traits using some cheats. So I gave them some like reward traits and stuff like that, so they feel like they have a little bit more personality to them. And then I also went in and I gave them a few degrees. I think they each have like maybe 2 or 3 different degrees, like university degrees. And that's just because I thought, you know what, they're probably both like at least 150, maybe 200 years old. So in my head, they probably have like a few degrees behind them. They've probably spent their time like maybe studying here and there and have gotten a degree, and it's just one of those like side effects of being a few hundred years old. You kind of run out of things to do, so you keep learning new things, if that makes sense. So yeah, I did give them that. And if you want to download either their house or like my made over version of the Vatore siblings. They're both up on the gallery, and I'll have all of the information in the description about what you can search to find them on the gallery, and I'll also have direct download links to the gallery website if that's easier for you. But yeah, speaking of the gallery, I do want to mention that when I tried to upload the build and the Sims a little bit earlier, when I was before I did the voiceover, I was having some trouble connecting to the gallery, and it just wouldn't connect for the life of me. So if the Sims or the build is a little bit if I'm a little bit late with uploading them to the gallery, then that's why. I will have them up at some point. I'm gonna try and have them up before the video goes out, but if I'm not able to do that, then just know that the gallery is the one that's messing up a little bit, and it's not me. So yeah, I do want to just mention that. And then also, if you want to download the house for them, I did use a crazy amount of packs. I almost said a bad word. But yeah, I did use a lot of packs because I'm not pack restricting my save file at all. So I tend not to pack restrict the builds for it either. So yeah, I mean, I'm really sorry about that. But at this point, you guys probably already know that about me and my builds, is that I very rarely do like pack restricted things, just because I do have everything, so I'm kind of used to having everything, if that makes sense. But yeah, if you ever want to download one of my builds and you see that on the gallery it says that I'm using a pack that you don't have, if you just click on the little pack icon on the gallery, it will actually show you the items that I've used from that specific pack. So if you click on that and you see I've used maybe just one decorative plant, or maybe I've just used like one candle or one painting, or maybe even just one wallpaper or something, then it's safe to say that you can easily download that build and just be missing like a few candles or a wallpaper that you can easily replace, or you know, something like that. So you don't necessarily need to have all of the packs that I'm using to be able to download the build, if that makes sense. You can see what I'm using, and if it's something that you can easily replace or not. I can't speak. It's like 3:30 in the morning, and I've already done another voiceover before I did this one, and this one is like 23 minutes long, so I kind of don't know how to speak for that long anymore. I haven't done a voiceover this long in quite a while. And the voiceover that I did before this one was like 15 or 16 minutes, so I've kind of exhausted everything. I've kind of exhausted all of the topics that I can think about to talk about, if that makes sense. So I'm just sat here like, what do I say next? I can only talk about the build for so long before I like get bored of talking about the build, and I don't really know what to tell you about the build that you can't just see on the screen, if that makes sense. I don't know. I suck at talking about the builds in my voiceovers, so yeah, that's just something that you should know by now if you've been around the channel for a while. But I should also mention that this build is almost 260,000 simoleons. I don't know how many of you guys actually pay attention to how much a build costs when you're like downloading it, or if you just cheat the money for your Sims like I do, but yeah, I guess I should just mention it in every video. But all of that information is always in the description, by the way, like the lot size, the amount of bedrooms, bathrooms, and the price. I always list that in the description. But yeah, here you'll notice that we have moved on to the landscaping, and the reshade has changed a little bit. So you will see that the shadows are a little bit darker, and yeah, just a little bit more pronounced than they were like previously. The game itself is basically just a little bit darker with all of the more pronounced shadows, if that makes sense. So yeah, I love that. And I mean, you can't really see it in like speed build form all that much. It's not as noticeable as it is when I'm actually playing the game or if I'm taking screenshots. So yeah, definitely stick around till the end for the screenshots. I mean, we're not that far away from them, maybe like 2 minutes. So yeah, if you've made it this far in the voiceover, thank you very much for sticking around for this, what I'm sure was a very messy and all over the place voiceover. But yeah, so I want to get back to something I mentioned earlier, which is that I finished this like at the beginning of March, and I haven't posted it until now because I've been busy. And yes, that's true, I have been busy. I've been working on some bigger builds that have been taking me a little bit longer than I thought they would. And I've just been struggling with like motivation to do stuff, which is just a whole nother thing. But basically, I've also been getting back into The Sims 2. I get into these like phases of wanting to play nothing but The Sims 4, and then I will play nothing but The Sims 4 for like months. But then I'll get into a random mood of wanting to play The Sims 2 or The Sims 3, and then I'll get like super obsessed with those two games and I won't want to play anything else. So currently, when I'm recording this, I'm in my Sims 2 phase where I don't want to build in The Sims 4. I don't want to play The Sims 4. I just want to build and play The Sims 2. So the video that went up earlier this week will have been a Sims 2 speed build. And you might also see a few more Sims 2 builds in the next like maybe week, maybe 2 weeks. More so than Sims 4 stuff. And again, that's just because it's the current phase that I'm in. And I'm sure once I've, exhausted that I'll be back to just posting Sims 4 stuff. Or maybe I'll start some Sims 3 things again. I don't know. I'm all over the place when it comes to like making content. I physically can't sit down and build in a game if I'm not feeling inspired to. So currently, with the way I'm feeling about The Sims 2 and only wanting to play that, if I were to sit down right now and try and build in The Sims 4, I would probably end up hating whatever it was that I did. So I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try and force it, because doing something like building and being creative in like anything is just something that you really can't force, and I'm not even going to try and do it. So I hope you guys are okay with the Sims 2 content and the Sims 3 content at some point as well. Like I said, it should only be a few weeks, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then I'll be back to more Sims 4 stuff. But yeah, I hope you're okay with that. If you want to check out any of my Sims 2 videos, I'll leave those linked in the description, as well as my Sims 3 stuff, because I'm having a lot of fun with both games and I like sharing them with you guys as well. So yeah, definitely go and check those out if you're interested. But I hope you've enjoyed this build. I know it's been a very rambly voiceover, and I always talk about the most random stuff in my voiceovers that technically have nothing to do with the build that you're actually watching, but that's just me. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, give the video a like. And if you're new to the channel and you'd like to see some more Sims content, feel free to hit the subscribe button, and remember to turn on notification bell as well to be notified of whenever I upload a new video. But I hope you're all having a great day, and I'll talk to you all in my very next video. Bye everyone!